address the players in terms of Hamlin's situation?
We did it as a team. Saw a bunch of them individually on Tuesday. Talked to a couple while I was going on Monday night. All the guys had it in their individual meetings. In our team setting, we didn't do it, though, because we kind of did all one-on-one. But we made our doctor, our clinician, he's usually here on Tuesdays for a little bit. We made him available all day. A lot of players used it. The thing we found out, most of them used it for their wives and people like that. A lot of our players were, they were doing all right, but I think the wives used it the most.
Is there a common theme of the players or concerns that you heard them express or heard of them expressing?
Not really. They said how sad it was, and just seeing it, I think that's just the way they looked at it. I thought they thought it was a pretty freak thing, and just how unfortunate the kid was, and I think everyone was emotional about it, but none of the guys stressed to me any concerns about what they do.
Remember when you guys were in Arizona, you said there were certain players that you kept an eye on specifically, just that it was taking a toll on mentally and emotionally. Is this a similar kind of thing? Are there certain people you have in mind that you want to keep a closer eye on?
No, I don't think so. I think maybe if someone had a personal relationship with them, you would seek them out more than everyone. I think when it initially happens and you're not sure why or anything, you want to look into everyone. I think, by the time we got with them today, we spent a day and a half and just talking them over the phone. I think they were in a pretty good spot with it, just the understanding of it and everything, and knowing how unfortunate it was for Damar. But I think our guys, it's the saddest someone can be, but they're managing.
From your own perspective, put yourself in McDermott's shoes in terms of how you might react in that kind of situation, how you think it through what you would do.
When I saw it, first shoes I put myself in was his parents' shoes. That's all I could think of. Like, holy cow! I really hope his parents aren't watching this like I am. I hope they're there. That was my biggest concern. And I think I read that his mom was there. But somebody that's close to him wasn't, and that's the stuff I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine seeing someone I knew, a friend, a kid, sitting there like that, and you not knowing what's going on. And I thought that was the most traumatizing thing. I think from a coach, just watching those coaches, I think they handled it as good as you could. I don't think there is any way necessarily to handle it, but just to sit there and pray and be with all the people. And I think it was bound to get canceled. Everyone, I think, obviously that was going to happen, and you don't know at the time, but you're not sitting there as a coach really thinking about that stuff. Your concerns are totally with the kid, and you listen to what they tell you after that, but you're not sitting there trying to think of a game plan or anything like that. I think when something like that happens, whether you're the coach, whether you're the players around, whether you're someone in the stands, whether you're watching on TV, that's when your mind is probably as clear as it can ever be, because there's only one thing that matters, and that's life or death. And when you're watching a life or death situation, I think your mind is extremely clear, because that's the one time in your life. When I've been around people who've lost people real close to them, they're grieving, they're wrecked, but it's usually times people know what's important, because you get reminded that, and that's all you're thinking in that moment, and you could see that on everyone's faces, strong.
Anyone with the team go over with the players what the protocols are in cases like that where a heart stops beating? Was anybody curious about?
No one asked me that. They could have asked our doctors, who they all, the guys who we're concerned met with. But yeah, no one asked me.
How do you guys get back to work? Is it as much as it can be, business as usual, or how do you go about this week?
You go. You got to do your job. I think everyone does. Whatever that is. It's real rough. It's real sad. But you got to work too. So that's what guys do, and you try to be there for each other. And I really heard for that team specifically because of knowing how many guys have such close relationships there. But you try to be there for everyone.
Was part of you concerned that maybe that game was going to continue because players were warming up a little bit? Were you thinking, how is this game going to actually continue?
I'm sure. I don't know. I wasn't there talking to the guys, and I don't think. I mean, just watching TV, I wasn't watching it, so I didn't know what was going on. And then when someone told me to look on, all I saw was facial expressions, and those facial expressions looked like something extremely tragic happened. So you didn't really know. You're just wondering what happened, and then you kind of put it together, and you started to think, all right, there's no way this is going on. And then they go into the locker room, and you kind of assume it's a matter of time before everyone figures that out. And I think it did. I mean, I think they did, whoever did. But I mean, it's never. I think it has happened in the past that I've heard of, but I don't ever remember it happened. And so I think everyone's kind of waiting, looking like what happens. And the main thing is they try to save the person's life, and it sounds like they're still trying to do that. And let's all pray that happens.
Either of those coaches at all? Well, Kyle?
Not real well. I mean, they're both really good guys. I've gotten to spend the last couple of years with them when we go to the owners' meeting and stuff and hang out with them. I know they're very faith-based guys. I know they're very good people, very family-oriented people, and I don't know them great, but what I do know of them, there's two as good of people who could have been in that situation. No, I haven't. Yeah, I don't know them like that, but I probably should. But they did a hell of a job.
I know there's some talk, some people suggesting that the game should be impacted this coming week, but have you received any kind of indication that, your game is going to be anytime other than 1:25 p.m. on Sunday?
Yeah, no, we haven't been told anything differently, so we're just going on with business as usual in terms of when our game is.